Level 1, the beginning. You are 0. You arrive on an NHS ward in the north of England. A midwife delivers you at 3:14 in the morning. No bill arrives after. Your mother's maternity leave started 3 weeks before your due date. It runs 52 weeks in total. Only 39 of those weeks pay anything. The first 6 pay 90% of her wage. The next 33 pay a flat £194.32 a week. The final 13 pay nothing. Your father takes 2 weeks statutory. He's back at his desk by Monday. You get weighed on a hanging scale by the health visitor. You get your 6-in-1 jab at 8 weeks old. You get booked in at the GP surgery 2 streets over. You get a red book to track every milestone that follows. Your grandparents arrive within days. Your nan brings a casserole in a dish she wants back. Your granddad holds you the wrong way round on purpose. It gets a laugh out of the room. Tea in the front room becomes a Sunday fixture after that. The good biscuits stay on the top shelf. The television stays turned down low. Your parents fill in a form with your home address on it. That address decides your catchment school. Nobody in the room says it out loud. The postcode has already made one decision for you. You turn one. The cake is shop bought 1 candle. You get both fists in it before anyone can stop you. A turkey too big for the oven, paper crowns from a cracker nobody remembers buying, sprouts nobody finishes. At 3 o'clock, the King's speech comes on the television. The whole room goes quiet for 10 minutes straight. Level 2, the early years. You start school. You start at the local primary, aged 4. You're one of roughly 93% of English children who never leave the state system. A boy 2 doors down starts somewhere else that same September. Blazer, a different bus. A school with its own name over the gate. Your classroom holds 30 children. Your textbooks carry someone else's name, crossed out, handed down from last year's class. Your lunch is a packed one some weeks, sandwich cut in triangles. Your lunch is a paid dinner other weeks, or a covered one if the form at home says so. Saturday mornings belong to the match. Your dad takes you to watch the local team. You learn to read a scoreboard before you can properly read a book. You learn the chants before the hymns. This is the first Saturday of a habit that lasts the rest of your life. Every August, a week at the seaside. A caravan or a bed and breakfast with a shared bathroom down the hall. Fish and chips out of the paper, vinegar through the print. You lose a flip-flop in the sea. Gone for good. Chicken pox, 6. Calpol on a spoon, a week off school. A GP appointment that costs nothing at the till, same as always. The school nativity play, aged 7. You're a shepherd, a tea towel held on with an elastic band. Your mum is in the 3rd row with a disposable camera. She gets the photos developed a fortnight later, slightly blurred. SC's at 11. Practice papers stacked on the kitchen table. The school starts using the word transition for moving up to secondary. Your parents start talking about which secondary school to put down. The catchment map comes out again. The postcode is about to matter twice. Level 3, the coming of age. You start secondary school. Bigger corridors, a bus ride instead of a walk, a locker that never quite shuts properly. You're 11. The building alone holds more people than your entire primary school did. A friend from primary went private in the end. You visit his school once for a cricket match. His classroom seats 15. Yours seats close to 30. He has his own cricket pitch, mown that morning. You play on a council pitch with a boundary rope borrowed from someone's shed. Age 14, you choose your GCSE options. 9 subjects decided over one evening with a form and a highlighter pen. Whatever you pick here narrows what you can pick next. Age 16, a Saturday job. Stacking shelves at the supermarket on the ring road. The minimum wage for your age bracket, lower than an adult gets for the same shift. Bonfire night without your parents for the first time. A field on the edge of town, a fire built out of old pallets, sparklers passed hand to hand. Someone's dad mans the barbecue. The smoke gets in your coat. It stays there till the wash. Revision timetable taped above your desk, colour-coded, mostly ignored. Exams in May and June. Your hands sweat through the last 10 minutes of every paper. Results day in August. You queue outside the school hall. You tear the envelope open standing up. You scan for the grades first, the marks second. You do better than you thought in 2 subjects, worse in one you were sure of. You stay on for 6th form. Same building, different rules. A common room with a kettle that never works properly. 3 A-level subjects chosen by October. Whatever you pick here decides which university courses will even look at your application. Level 4, the fork in the road. You turn 18. You sign for a tuition fee loan of £9,535 a year. You sign for a means-tested maintenance loan on top, calculated against your parents' income, not yours. You sign a tenancy agreement for a room the size of a double bed. You sign your name at the bar, legally, for the first, a pint pulled by someone who's known you since you were in a pram. Before any of that, the UCAS personal statement, drafted alone at the kitchen table. No admissions tutor booked in for a mock interview. No family friend who went to Oxford to run through practice questions. Results day in August. Your grades are good enough. The offer from your Reach University doesn't come through anyway. Independent schools educate around 6% of the country's children. They supply close to a third of Oxford's fresh intake most years, not far off that at Cambridge. Your school sent 2 students to interview that whole year. Neither of them was you. Clearing instead. A firm placed 2 rungs down the league table by tea time. Or an apprenticeship offer that was sitting there the whole time. It was waiting for you to stop chasing the other route first. Halls 3 flights up, a shared bathroom down the corridor. Or staying local, the bus in 40 minutes each way to save on rent. Cheap kitchen, cheap sofa, first flat share. A takeaway most Fridays. A part-time job behind a bar or in a call centre, funding the rest of it. You meet someone in Freshers Week or on the apprenticeship scheme. Still going 6 months in. A new city. New friends. Everyone's 20s pulling in different directions. Whether it survives all that is a question for later. Level 5 entering the system. You graduate. Or you finish the apprenticeship. Either way, a first proper job follows within a few months. Rent takes a real bite straight away. Rentiers your age hand over close to half their take-home pay on it, on average, across the country. Short-term contracts come before anything permanent does. Some months it's payday to payday, the overdraft quietly covering the gap. You pay rent split 3 ways in a flat share. You pay council tax split the same 3 ways. You pay £5 for the Tuesday five-a-side, win or lose, a habit that replaces the Saturday terrace for now. You pay off the overdraft the same month the student loan repayments start automatically. 9% of anything you earn over £25,000 a year. A week away most summers. Scarborough some years, a package deal to Spain in others. The relationship from university or from the apprenticeship scheme is still going. It moves in with you. Then it becomes a wedding. A registry office, family on one side of the room, friends on the other. A reception in a function room afterward with a DJ who takes requests too literally. You try to put something aside for a deposit after that. Slowly. Against rents that keep climbing faster than the savings account does. Level 6, the build. You buy a house. The letters start arriving properly now. A letter confirming the mortgage. A house worth close to £250,000. A letter confirming the deposit, just under $60,000, saved and gifted and scraped together over years. A letter from the hospital, a referral for the knee that's ached for months now, a 12-week wait quoted inside. A letter confirming your first child's due date. A letter, a couple of years later, confirming 30 funded childcare hours once your youngest turns 9 months old. You're 34 when the mortgage completes. Almost exactly the national average for a first-time buyer. The knee gets dismissed at first, just getting older, before the GP sends the referral through. You fold the hospital letter into a drawer and get on with things. Your first child arrives on another NHS ward. Another stretch of statutory pay. 90% for 6 weeks. The flat rate after that. Nothing at all for the final stretch before you're due back at your desk. Nursery fees for a child under 2 run close to £240 a week. That's before any funding applies. One salary most months goes almost entirely on it. Thursday pub quiz becomes a fixture. The same 4 friends, the same table by the fruit machine, a picture round nobody ever gets full marks on. A second child follows a couple of years later. The nursery run doubles. A promotion comes through around the same time, or a sideway move that pays slightly better. The 30 funded hours ease things a little once they land. The knee still hasn't improved. It's been well over a year since that first referral. Then finally, a date for the specialist appointment turns up in the post. Level 7, the reckoning. You turn 50. The specialist appointment finally lands more than a year after the GP's referral went in. Osteoarthritis, the letter says, or a disc worn thinner than it should be at your age. You're not fixed. You're on a different list now, a surgical one. You're one of more than 7 million names on England's waiting list at any given time. You're told 2 out of 3 on that list get seen within 18 weeks. You're not sure which 2 out of 3 you'll be. Saturday mornings change shape again. You're coaching now your youngest Sunday league team. Whistle round your neck, a bag of bibs in the boot. The touchline replaces the sofa. You shout the same things your own dad used to shout. From a spot 2 feet to the left of where he used to stand. The mortgage's fixed rate ends. A new one gets signed, a couple of points higher than the last. The monthly figure climbs by more than you say out loud at dinner. Your eldest wants a new phone, then a new console. What marks out being a teenager hasn't changed much since you were one. Only the price tag has. 50 arrives with a party in a hired room. School friends you haven't seen in a decade turn up anyway, greyer, easier to laugh with than you remembered. Your eldest finishes school that same year. Talk turns to university or an apprenticeship. The same conversation your own parents had about you, word for word in places. Work plateaus. A lateral move comes up, more interesting than better paid, and you take it anyway. The Tuesday five-a-side card gets handed in. The knee won't take it anymore. You watch from the sideline instead, same as you did as a boy, just further round the pitch. Still no date for the operation. Level 8, the descent. You finally get your surgery date. Well over a year after that first referral went in. A pre-op assessment, then a ward bed, then a new joint. You wake up sore. Lighter, somehow, once the swelling goes down enough to notice. Weeks of physio follow. A resistance band looped round a chair leg, done twice a day whether you feel like it or not. Mobility comes back slower than you'd like, faster than the surgeon warned. Work offers you a choice not long after, redundancy or an early package to go quietly. Neither one was really up to you in the end. You take the number. You try to make it sound like your own decision at the next family dinner. You take on allotment with the extra time on your hands. It's a 2-year waiting list to get one, longer than the wait for the knee ever was. Rows of runner beans instead. Muddy knees for a different reason now. You take up a bike again too, slow loops around the block at first. Your eldest has a baby not long after. You take your first grandchild in your arms. She already has your nose somehow. You check your state pension forecast out of habit more than curiosity. The age has crept up to 67, not the 65 you grew up assuming. The full amount, even at the new rate, still falls short of the bare minimum retirement figure. That's on paper before a single bill gets paid. Your youngest finishes their own education, moves out for a job in a bigger city, or stays local because the rent's better here. A wedding anniversary gets marked properly. The same club function room that held the christenings and the 50th, booked out again. You watch your own parents' generation, further down this same road than you are. You start wondering what happens once a new joint isn't the thing that needs fixing anymore. Level 9 the last years. You retire properly now. The state pension lands every 4 weeks. £241.30 a week at the full rate. A little over £12,500 a year. It doesn't stretch as far as you'd hoped. The figure counted as a bare minimum for one person comes in higher than that. Higher than the full pension pays out on its own. A fall in the kitchen means help is needed at home. A knock on the door means the council's assessor has arrived. A form means the threshold gets checked against everything you own. A carer with a key means you're not managing this alone anymore. The threshold is £23,250 in savings and assets. Above that line, the costs become entirely your own. The house itself counts toward the total. Home care gets arranged in blocks through the week, around £24 an hour. A carer lets herself in with a key from a lockbox by the door. Your grandchild is old enough now to play for the grassroots club. The same one you once watched from the terrace as a boy, your own dad beside you. You watch from roughly the same spot 60 years on. The local's still standing or a different one is. Enough of them have closed these past years to make the survivors feel like something worth holding on to. Sunday afternoons, the same faces, older now, still turning up. Your partner's health goes first, or yours does. It rarely arrives for both of you on the same timetable. Either way, one of you ends up doing this next stretch without the other for company. Healthy years and unwell years aren't the same measurement. The gap between the two runs to about 16 or 17 years on average here. A good stretch of what's left gets lived with something to manage. You start thinking about what gets left behind. The house. Whatever's in the savings account. The stories nobody's written down yet. Level 10, the legacy. You don't wake up one morning. At home, in your sleep, or in a hospital bed with someone holding your hand. Closer to 80 than not, if you're a man. Closer to the mid-80s if you're a woman. Either way, longer than your own grandparents got. The paperwork lands on your family within days. Probate to sort, a death to register, a funeral to arrange and pay for. It falls to whoever's left to hold the folder together. The funeral fills the crematorium. Standing room at the back, coat still on. Old five-a-side teammates turn up, knees like yours once were. The Sunday League kids you coached turn up too. Grown now, some with kids of their own on that same pitch. The pub quiz 4 turn up too. They sit together in the second row, one seat gapped where you'd have been. Afterward, tea and sandwiches in the same club function room that held the christenings, the anniversaries, the 50th birthday. Stories get told that nobody in the family had heard before. The house gets sold, or passed down to a child who grew up inside it, who never quite pictured living anywhere else. A grandchild too young to remember you properly holds a photograph instead of a memory. Someone tells them who you were. It'll have to do. Life expectancy here now sits close to 80 for a man. The mid-80s for a woman. Numbers that would have sounded like science fiction to your own grandparents. They were born into a country where making it past 60 counted as a good innings. Somewhere else in the same town this week, another baby is born on an NHS ward. Another address is about to decide a catchment area. Another family is doing the maths on 39 weeks of maternity pay. The postcode hasn't finished making decisions yet.